following announcement has been paid for by the WZWA Network.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to the WZWA Network, and welcome to my review show here of MLW Never Say Never 2023 from July 8th, 2023 from Philly in Pennsylvania at the 2300 Arena. I'm your host, Karlifornia. Yeah, I'm not wearing a hat today. You can see that I'm bald as fuck, bro. This is their first live show since 2019. I have been hoping, waiting, praying for MLW to do something like this for some time now because, you know, we review every other big company in the United States and further along. But MLW, their big shows, they always do tapings for their Fusion TV tapings. And for me, knowing that when they do these big events, they tend to splice them up. So one half of one of these big events will be on one episode of Fusion, and then the next week, the second half will be on. And I just didn't see any reason to do a review of a show like that because, quite frankly, like I just didn't think it would get the views considering that it's cut into two. So finally, after all this time, I get MLW and I get to see what this company is all about, considering I have at least one friend there in that company. I did like the opening video, and I saw that our commentators were Joe Dombrowski and Matt Stryker, which I was very happy to see. And of course, Stephen DeAngelis, my friend. You can check out my exclusive interview with him on the Insider's Edge podcast on this channel. He's the ring announcer. Anyway, let's get underway, shall we? We start off with the MLW Openweight Championship. Jacob Fatu takes on Calvin Tankman in this matchup. And I was interested to see this because the first time I saw Tankman, it was a hype video for a match with Jacob Fatu. And that was for a MLW championship match many years ago. The second time I saw Calvin Tankman was on Bloodsport this year, Josh Barnett's Bloodsport. So here's my third opportunity to see what this big boy, this big bastard is all about. I think first out of the gate, the first thought in my mind is I think it would be good for Jacob to go to WWE to enter this Bloodline storyline, but I'm assuming he is under contract for some time now in MLW. So it's a shame he's kind of missing out on that because I think he would be a welcome character. And I've already got a thought in my mind of what I would do with him if he were to enter that storyline with Solo, the Usos, and Roman. So we've got two big bulls here going at it. I like the fact that early on in the match, Jacob went for a Sabat kick and Calvin Tankman kind of ducked out the way. And again, with Matt Stryker, I'm really happy to see he landed a gig here in MLW. It's really cool because I think he's very talented at what he does. And there's several things here on the show which I pop for from him. We're at the old ECW Arena. So I'm not used to the hard cam at that venue facing the entranceway, but this is kind of a thing now. I'm looking for Joe Dombrowski to bring me up to speed, and he did a very good job because there's a potential of a lot of fans out there checking out MLW for the first time because it's actually on pay-per-view. Don't say PLE. I hate PLE. Tankman flipped off the apron early into the match as Jacob Fatu was sitting on a chair. He moved, and Calvin took the brunt of the bump on that chair. You tough motherfucker. Big pounce from Tankman at one stage of the match that sent Jacob over the top rope. Then he hit a suicide dive. Very impressive for a guy his size. Jacob hit a handspring moonsault just to show once again what he's all about. I've seen him a few times now, and I can tell that this guy, despite his size, can do a whole hell of a lot of things. He sold the knee very good. It's a very good battle between the two. And fuck me, bro. Jacob hit a Hurricane Rana off the top rope onto Calvin Tankman. This is insane that these two big boys can do this kind of shit. I can't do it, and I'm like half their weight. Swanton from Jacob soon after that. Ooh, Tankman kicked out. It was nuts. Crowd was loving it. This might have been match of the show. Actually, I think it was match of the show. Great back and forth between the two as they headed towards the finish. A twisting body block from Fatu, and he wins. But I have to give props to Tankman and his back elbows. Fantastic. Fatu cuts a promo, puts Tankman over, and we move forward. The WXW Women's Champ, Ava Everett, gets an interview. If you don't know, WXW is a German wrestling company. And Ava is already very annoying. Loving the character. Good stuff. I love after this that Alex Kane, who's challenging for the championship later on in the show, he enters the building looking fly as fuck, homie. And we're going to find out who's bankrolling the Boom-I-A Fight Club later in the show. I like this stuff because they're utilizing the arena. Sometimes wrestling companies can be a little bit lazy with what they're putting out there on the show, and they don't utilize that backstage area. They don't utilize different parts of the building just to show that this building is a whole world that we can utilize. And it doesn't just have to be backstage interviews, wrestling match. There could be other things. And I wish that they did at least maybe 4 or 5 more of these types of things on this show. I really think it would have helped. But anyway, next matchup, MLW Featherweight Championship on the line and the WXW Women's Championship on the line. Delmi Exo, the champion of MLW with the Featherweight title, taking on Ava Everett, the WXW Women's Champion. So this is title for title match right here. Ava got a lot of heat early on. I don't have a lot of notes here. I'm sorry. There was a spine buster that Delmi hit. That was a little bit rough. Nice Y2 cutter from Ava with that one arm. I really like that. And props to Ava because she stays in character the whole match. I know a lot of wrestlers these days have spot to think about. When they do that, a lot of the time the character goes out the window. They forget about being in character, but Ava did a good job staying in character. A great leg trap suplex from Delmi. Very, very scary kind of bump though. But this is what happens with some of the ladies because the ladies are lighter, so they can head towards the mat quite quickly as opposed to some of the men. Because the elevation on the suplexes aren't as I don't know how to explain it, but the zhuzh in the execution of the move does not elevate the person taking the move as high because they are lighter. Great package pile driver straight after that from Delmi. And that was a nice win. I liked the length of the match and it wasn't bad overall. But I do kind of laugh at whose name is Delmi Exo. Delmi. It's like an NXT name. So it's great to see that there's 4 more MLW pay-per-views this year. Looking forward to covering them all. Speaking of covering something, let's cover the next match up here. Timothy Thatcher takes on Hot Sauce Tracy Williams. I've seen them both in Ring of Honor. I think I've seen Timothy a little bit in AEW as well. Big props again to Joe Dombrowski because he clearly knows a lot about wrestling. I thought I did. Now, I'd like to, you know what? I'd like to do a quiz against Joe Dombrowski to see if I know more than him about the whole history of wrestling. Let's see if we can hook that up, Joe. This is pretty good technical wrestling between these two. My friend Nerdcore from #ProWrestling on the IRC chat room, Pro Wrestling on the Ryzen Network. I talked to him about this before, and he said that he heard that this show was the drizzling shits, but I don't see that at all. So whoever said that, Nerdcore, they're wrong, bro. Good to see some ROH guys getting a job somewhere meaningful. Fair enough. These two really went at it really. I love the technical shit between the two. It was really interesting. And I just thought to myself, imagine a prime William Regal wrestling these guys. That would be great stuff. And I'm sure that will be a dream come true for both of them. I'm sure they are both very heavily influenced from Lord Stephen Regal or William Regal. So I wrote this note, right? Great DDT of the second rope by Tracy Williams. And then he went for a pin, right? And the referee counted. He got 1, 2, and it was clearly a 3 because Timothy was not moving and he stopped the count. And I was like, I think Timothy's knocked out. There's no way that he forgot to kick out then. And it was like, holy fuck, the 2 count was a 3 count because Tracy tried to pick up Timothy. Timothy wasn't moving. The referee was like, oh shit, okay, he's actually knocked out. He didn't just forget to kick out. He's actually messed up right now. Look, props to Matt Striker for trying to cover it up, saying like, oh, he just got a shoulder blade off the mat. Like, no, he did not move at all. But you got to do what you got to do on commentary sometimes to try and make up for anything that's taking place. At least he tried, right? But unfortunately, Timothy was knocked down. The match was called off, and Tracy Williams walked away with the win, bro. We've got the open draft of MLW. We're finding out new guys who are coming in. Kevin Blackwood is apparently the next guy coming in. Never heard of him, but we'll see how I feel about him when I finally see him. I'm sure he's great. Why would MLW hire anyone that sucks? Coming up next, a handheld strap match, right? Sam Adonis takes on Mance Warner. And honestly, I will say this. Those straps were fucking ignored most of this match. And that's okay. It's not a big deal because if it were real, that would probably be the case if they can use all these other weapons, right? So fair enough. Sam grabbed a mic. He seems very well spoken. I saw him on Triple Mania last time we did a review of AAA. He grabs the mic. He seems very well spoken, as I just said. The fans were shitting on him hard, and he kept his cool despite that heckling. And I think he did good with the promo. Mance, I've seen before. I think I saw him doing a battle royal once, and I think once in AEW, but whatever. I liked at the beginning they were teasing the straps, teasing them. Mance's face, his actual face, reminds me a lot of a mix between Damien Sandow and one of the Briscoe brothers. Just saying. The whipping starts taking place, but this is pretty much the extent of it. We don't see it much later on. One of the guys pulls out a tool bag, not a toolbox, a tool bag, and I pop for Matt Striker calling Joe Dombrowski a tool bag. They bring out some doors, and I'm laughing because doors clearly are so overly used today. And I thought to myself, if this is a feud, because this seems like a feud ending match, if this is a feud, a hype package would have been very welcome from this fan here, checking out MLW for the first time. Think about it, okay? I first checked out GCW when they had the World on GCW show. And to be perfectly honest, they shat the bed so badly with that show that I have barely bothered with them since. This is MLW's chance to hook me. So we'll see how we go when I get to the end of this review. I did like the fact that Matt Striker was going on about the light beer that Mance Warner drinks and says, you know, how pathetic that is, that his dad drank Doers on the Rocks. Very cool, man. Mance was selling very well with the blood loss. He's pissing with blood. He's showing that he's weakened. He's weakened. Mance definitely likes Terry Funk. You can tell those jabs, and then he wound up with a bit of a dusty, but I like the Terry Funk jabs, bro. He was bleeding like Thurk. There was a Death Valley driver through a door in the corner from Sam. Then here comes the Azteca henchmen. They come out. They kind of remind me of the guys from Squid Game a little bit. And then here we go. Microman and Matthew Justice and Manders run off as Azteca, but Microman stays out there. Microman is so tiny that when he was coming out, it was a silhouette because behind them was a very bright screen. So I just thought, oh, someone's coming out and like there's a kid on his shoulders. No, it is just a small person wrestler. So he hits Sam Adonis with a kendo stick and then he gets booted. And that was like one of the pops of the show for me. The little guy just copping a fucking kick to the fucking chest. Low blow from Mance. He hits a choke slam through a door. Then he hits that knee to the face, which I thought looked a little bit weak. I think I would have finished it with a choke slam, but Mance Warner gets the victory. Let's move forward. Mr. Saint Laurent, MSL comes out. He's talking about the MLW Open Draft. You know what, MSL? Now you're probably worthy of having a Wikipedia account. Okay, just saying. And he's talking about somebody who's going to be coming in through the MLW Open Draft, and it's Matt Cardona bum puffing a cigar, as you should. You should never inhale a cigar. But good to see him continue to go from company to company and continue what he's doing there on the indies. I like that. Well done, Matt. Good choice. And I like that Matt Stryker really likes to wind Joe Dombrowski up and try to pop him. But Joe Dombrowski does a very good job of no selling. Let's get to the next matchup. It's the MLW World Tag Team Championship on the line. Fans bring the weapons, apparently. The Samoan SWAT team, the champions, taking on the Calling here in this title match. Lance Anaui, he could be in the WWE too for this Bloodline story, if he could get his body looking better, okay? This right here needs a little bit of work. This right here needs a little bit of work. Then maybe he's ready, okay? Or maybe he just wears a shirt like the Usos. Or maybe he could ask Drew McIntyre about his workout theory, because Drew, once upon a time, looked kind of skinny as a rake, and now look at him. And I'm not body shaming. I'm just saying, what would you do if you want to appeal to the masses, if you want to wrestle in the biggest company in the world? Lance needs to work on that, and then I think he'll be ready, because I think his actual in-ring work is fantastic. As the match was about to begin, Delirious and Fatu, Jacob Fatu, show up. They start brawling. They get taken out of the match. Juicy Finale, I've seen him once before at XPW, so it was welcome to see him back. Ricky Shane Page, again, he must be happy to be away from complete deathmatch stuff. Good on you, bro. I know Masada has been trying for fucking years to get away from that stuff, and he still can't. And hopefully once everyone actually finds out that Masada never actually did anything wrong, and that you don't just have to believe anything anyone just suddenly throws out there on social media, because I've seen the evidence and I know that he is innocent, not OJ innocent, actual innocent. So hopefully when that takes place and everyone realizes, then maybe that guy can get a job with a proper company. Nothing against XPW, but I mean like a company that's got a TV deal, etc. Anyway, let's continue. Huge running kick onto a barbed wire game system on Lance Anaui very early on, and I like the fact that Matt Stryker said game over as it took place. Very funny. We get a proper table coming out. Yay. And I'm wondering to myself, where do wrestling companies seek out tables? What do you do to seek out tables? After all these years, all those tables look the exact same type of brown wood on top, the exact same shade of brown. They're never different colors unless it's a door. I'm wondering, where do you go? How do you do it? Is there a company that makes specific tables for people to be thrown through? Just wondering. Juicy stuffs a plunger into Ricky's face, which I really popped for. The table, other table that was in the ring, it looked a little thin, and I was like, don't get laid on it. I meant laid on it as in like laid on top of it, not get laid on it. Great Samoan drop onto a cactus. Very cool. Big Samoan from Juicy, or one of the gas mask guys, and Delirious interferes with a pipe, hits him in the knee. And I really like the detail of Jacob Fatu coming out, and he still had one of the handcuffs on his wrist. Then he hit a massive dive, but then after that, there was a huge Meteora through a table on Juicy, and then a DDT off the top through a table on Lance, and was it Ricky Shane? And there was new champs. So the Calling did it. They became the MLW World Tag Team Champions. Let's move forward. Don King. We find out Don King, of all people, is bankrolling the Bumaye Fight Club. And I thought that was hilarious. Like, of all people, I did not expect it to be Don King. Hopefully one day they can get him to actually make an appearance live, because that would be a pop. Let's move forward. We're not far away here from the ending of this review. Steve DeAngelis was introducing Becky. Becca, sorry, excuse me, Becca. And he kept getting handed these little cards to read and to introduce her. And It was building up the suspense in such an annoying way. It's very good. So she comes out. She's got like a crew of dancers behind her. Honestly, I'm pretty sure this is by design, but her outfit, her makeup, and her hair, I saw the back of her hair with the extensions, and I was like, that's terrible. They look, all that outfit, makeup, and hair looked terrible. And I know it has to be by design. It's somebody who's trying to pretend that they're going to be a pop star, somebody that is going to go viral, and they're a tryhard, and they're actually not very good at what they do. And then she sang her song, Hot Summer Fun. And I thought to myself, this is a great character. Surely it has to be all by design. If it is not, and I've just offended her by saying her outfit, makeup, and hair was terrible when she was actually trying, then I apologize. But as far as I'm concerned, it was by design. It had to be. Surely, please tell me it was. And I like the comment of, out of all of her songs, this is definitely her most recent. And then to end the segment, a crazed fan ran in wearing wings, and I don't know what happened there, but I'm sure it will be part of an ongoing angle. Let's get to the main event of the evening. MLW World Heavyweight Championship on the line here. Alex Hammerstone, the champion for 1,498 days, defends against Alex Kane from the Boomaye Fight Club. I thought the video package before this was not very good. Just being honest, I thought that they could have really made more out of that. We see some former champions, but then it should have blended into that package we saw at the beginning of the show. Remind everyone again how we arrived at this main event. But I thought to myself, there's no way Hammerstone leaves this match as champion. He's had a longer reign than Roman Reigns and Camille from the NWA. So this is epic. And for their first pay-per-view, not PLE, let's stop with that shit, okay? It's a pay-per-view. We go that long, you know, for that reign. First one, he's gonna drop it. That's just me. That's just me as a bitter wrestling fan, kind of seeing something before it happens. I liked the psychology of Alex Kane baiting Hammerstone in. I love the back and forth between the two of them here in the early goings, because this was a psychological war between the two. Story, not just hitting moves and doing dives. That doesn't mean shit. It never has, never fucking will. It needs fucking story. There needs to be something to sink your teeth into as a viewer. Otherwise, you're just pandering to people with a very, very short attention span that just need that constant dopamine hit in their fucking stupid little minds, because that's the way that they are, and they're probably under the age of 30 years old. So anyway, great suplexes. All these suplexes from Alex Kane. He's wearing him down. Hammerstone hits a Hulk Hogan hulking up comeback. I didn't know that he did that, but I kind of like it, to be honest with you. He hit a burning hammer. We got a 2 count. The panic on Hammerstone's face when he was in a sleeper hold at that point in the match, I really like that. It's selling the story, selling the emotion. Maybe he hasn't got the right game plan going into this, and he's starting to realize it. He's starting to panic. I really like Striker's comment about people cutting weight. So apparently Hammerstone cut about 10, 20 pounds to get ready for this matchup. Maybe that has thrown him for a loop. I like it, Matt. Thank you. The referee, big no-no. Don't start counting the pin before they actually get on top of their opponent. Thank you. And I'm sorry, I keep closing my eyes. I'm actually a bit sleepy. We hit a nightmare pendulum after a superplex and a reversal from Alex Kane. He cops that nightmare pendulum, which is a fantastic move. You know, he hooks him for a suplex, he picks him up, and then he kind of boom, slams him down, and almost like a rock bottom. I remember I thought of that move when I was like 12, 13 years old, when I was doing backyard wrestling. And to see someone hit it way better than I would have been able to back then. But I always thought of that move like, oh, it'd be cool to do a suplex and then you rock bottom on the way down. It's a really cool move. And Hammerstone, props to you, brother. He gets hit with a gut wrench from the top rope, which was hectic from Alex Kane. Nightmare pendulum attempt, but it's reversed into a small package. Looks like it could have been the victory there. Could have been the finish of the match, but there was a kick out. That would have been really cool, but I really did like the way that it ended. Soon after this, Alex Kane starts to choke out Hammerstone, and the look on Hammerstone's eyes, as Matt Stryker, I believe, was mentioning, look at his eyes, look at his eyes. He's done, and he taps out to being choked from Alex Kane. Alex Kane is the new MLW World Heavyweight Champion, ending a 1,498-day reign for Alex Hammerstone. This was a joy for me. Honestly, it was a joy for me to finally get to check out some MLW. I've only very sparingly had the opportunity to check out some of this stuff. I think I watched a match with Conan and Low Key or something just to see what happened. I think I watched some highlights of one of their Battle Riot matches. But because they do a weekly show, most of the time they have these specials spliced up on different episodes of Fusion. I never watched it because I only watch it if I have to review it for the channel. I can't watch weekly wrestling TV at the moment. I'll try and improve on it. Okay, I'll promise I will. But okay, I enjoyed the show. I'm going to give it a 7.5 out of 10. That's pretty standard for me. If I enjoyed the show, it's usually 7.5. If I enjoyed it immensely, it's usually an 8 or an 8.5. If I thought it was amazing, it was a 9. And if it was like WrestleMania 17, then it's a fucking 10, bro. Or One Night Stand, the first one, or WrestlePalooza 97, etc., etc., etc. So there we have it, everyone. I just reviewed my first ever MLW pay-per-view, and I'm fucking chuffed about it. Please check out our store on ProWrestlingTees.com, Thunder Mifflin. We've got 4 designs. We need some sales, bro. We need some sales, so we can put up like another 20 designs. We've got so many ideas, but we need to like make like 20 sales. So I think we've only made 5 in the last year. Please check it out. Go to our Patreon. You can see it in the description below. $3 a month, and you get some extra content that's too hot for our YouTube channel, or we kind of have to, you know, get past the copyright bullshit. Other than that, please go to the Rizon Network, RIZON.net, Rizon.net. Go to a chat room called #ProWrestling, IRC chat. There's a great bunch of guys in there to talk to, and gals to talk to, about pro wrestling. We're looking for more people. We want more people. If you like my reviews, you like my show, pop in there. I'm in there 24/7. Even when I'm sleeping, my computer's on. I'm in the chat room. You can talk to us any day, anytime. And it's best to go in there when things are live, pal. Yeah, we're live, pal. You know, if it's a live AEW pay-per-view, live Dynamite, live Raw, you know, WWE pay-per-view, etc., etc. There's always people in there watching along. Okay, fuck Discord. Discord sucks, okay? You can join our Discord, but no one bothers with Discord. Check out the Rizon Network and #ProWrestling. Anyway, there we have it. I'm done. Great to have you all here. I really appreciate you checking out this review of MLW Never Say Never 2023. I'm Karlifornia, and I will see you down the street. Thank you.
Network, that's the way we play. Good God Almighty. Network, that's the way we play. Get puppies. Network, that's the way we play. Get.
The following announcement has been paid for by the WZWA Network.